Hey everyone, what's up? Yeah, I got off work about 3 o'clock today. Got home about 4:15, and I was thinking about talking. And while I was working, during the breaks I would get, not 15 minutes or anything, but kind of like the take a breather kind of breaks. For the short hours that I had today, I was kind of thinking to myself, um, something that I mentioned yesterday. Um, Something that I mentioned yesterday at the end of my text review and as well as my live review of My Little Pony Friendship is Magic season 7 finale, Shadow Play. And it was something that actually had been discussed over the weekend ever since everybody else had seen it at that time. And what was discussed was basically, well, it was more of a question than anything else. And the question basically was, should Shadow Play should Shadow Play have been the one story wise? Should Shadow Play from a story perspective been what we got for the MLP movie than what we were given? Now, I'm not saying that what we got with the MLP movie was bad. I did a live reaction and review of it on the Facebook group pages. I talked about it here, spoiler and non spoiler free videos on it. I did a journey to go see it on opening day, which was about a month ago now. Oh, so I enjoyed what I saw. I enjoyed everything that I saw in that movie. I mean, sure, were there flaws? Absolutely. But what movie doesn't have flaws, especially to those that can look at the negatives and not the positives? But when I hear people talk about the fact that this could have been, that Shadow Play and its story arc that we got could have been a better suitable choice at times for the MLP movie. Despite liking what we got, and I did enjoy, and I know numerous amongst thousands of fans enjoyed what we got, if not millions, maybe almost. But despite that, I can understand what others are coming from. Even those that may have enjoyed the MLP movie, I can understand where they're coming from when they would say, hey, this Shadow Play story that we got could have been a better movie than what we enjoyed. And like I said, I can understand where they're coming from there. Because when one looks at how Shadow Play is set up here, despite how you view it and how critical you are about it, Shadow Play, the way it's set up, could have really. I will admit, because I did give it a 10 out of 10 and an A plus rating, which I'm sticking by because I thought it was good. Um, when when one looks at it, though, I can see how this would serve as a movie. I really could. And had we not gotten the story that we got with the actual movie, I could see this being a suitable, if not perfect, substitute or backup story for the movie itself. And I don't think that the men and women behind the movie didn't think about that either, because I'm sure they did. Because when you look at this whole shadow play scenario and how it was built up, some people will say it was mostly built up in the comics with the Legends of Magic comic, with the Legends of Magic comic series, which is a spin-off of Friendship is Magic. Um, the issue that basically featured a relative, a distant relative, a descendant of Stygian. You know, for them to build it up through there, and then to use episodes like Campfire Tales, Daring Done, Health of Information to really help build upon what we got in the comics and what we were getting in the Legends of Magic comics. I could see where some people are coming from. I really could. I could see where this would definitely work as a movie. I could see that. And when I say I could see that, I basically mean the fact that I basically mean the fact that this story, as good as it was for the 44-minute run combined together that it had, for the 44-minute run that it had combined together, because when you put both episodes together, one intro, one outro, and all that, one beginning, one credit, for the 40, basically the 45 minutes it was given. Let's put it that way. For the 45 minutes that it was given, we got a good story arc. We got a good action-packed story arc that just had everything. And like I said, I know some people may feel that it felt a little rushed, and maybe it did. I didn't feel that way because if you take out the musical numbers and all that, and you focus mainly on what the story is about and the development of the story and the development of the characters in the story, you're going to get something that feels perfectly fine the way it is. It feels like, a lot of that basically shows that a lot of effort and care was put into this film. I mean, not film, but into this two-part finale. You could see that. But when people say that it could have served better as a movie, if not as the movie, then yeah, they do have some points. I mean, they could have easily, let's be honest, Shadow Play could have easily been extended as a 5-part miniseries. Let's be honest with that, a 5 to 4-part miniseries, which serves perfectly on the basis of a movie. Without commercials or minimalized commercials or whatever. The average episode is about 22 to 23 minutes long. Especially if you watch the on-demand version, which only, for some reason, has only like 1 or 2 commercials. I don't know why they have commercials, period, but they do. But every episode is about, with the very limited amount of commercials, even through on-demand, the average episode is about 22 minutes long. So when you take those that length of episodes, 22, it's 44, 22, 66, 22, 88, you have at 88 minutes, 4 episodes combined together at 88 minutes, you have yourself a movie. And if you want to go the length that they did for the actual movie we got in theaters, they could have done a 5-parter with this, and they could have had a movie that was just as long, if not a bit longer, than the actual MLP movie that we got. And I think honestly, had they decided to do that, I think we would have been fine just as much as we were fine and okay and grateful for what we got in theaters. Theaters with the actual movie. But when people say that this could have been a better choice, like I said, they have the points there because you could have used, as a movie, you could have had more time to explore into the history of the Pony of Shadows. You could have had more time to go into depth as to why Starswell and the rest of the pillars you could have dug a lot deeper and gone into more depth as to why they banished they banished Stygian. Uh, they basically banished him, exiled him from the presence. You could have gone more into depth about his history with them. You could have gone more into depth with him wanting to do exactly what he explained in the finale, and that's try to help them, even though maybe he should have told them. You could have gone. They could have gone into more depth had they been given, like, let's say, a movie finale or a movie in general to wrap this story up with. So that obviously that's the reason why a lot of people would say that this would have been a better choice for a movie, not because they didn't like what we got with them going on, going beyond Equestria to save Equestria and befriending these new characters and all that, but because of the fact that the reason they feel that Shadowplay could have been the better um, choice for a movie is basically because we could have got a lot more out of it. Like I said, from a movie perspective, we could have gotten more in depth, more history between Stygian and Starswell and the other pillars. We could have found out how Stygian came into contact with the Pony of Shadows. Maybe we could have gotten in-depth history on the Pony of Shadows because, let's be honest, I don't think anybody watching this live right now are going to be watching it post-live. I don't think anybody, without a shadow of a doubt, to coin a phrase, is not fooled by the fact that the Pony of Shadows is basically made of the same dark essence and dark power that corrupted Luna into Nightmare Moon. It's the same corruptive power that got a hold of Sombra. We cannot, I don't think we can deny that. So to have a movie based around this finale, or have this finale be in a movie-like form, we could have gotten more history and more depth about the Pony of Shadows itself. But in the end, though, would this have made made for a better movie? Would this have been the better choice? And quite honestly, I can't really say yay or nay on that. You know, because here's the thing. I think at 45 minutes, combined together both episodes, like I said earlier, it gave us what we wanted. It gave us a solidly, easy for me to say, solidly good episode. Um, it gave us a good episode, basically. It gave us something that a lot of people would say you can rank up there with some of the best finales the show has had, if not at the very top. And I feel a movie that, and when I hear people say that a movie could have served it better, again, I can see where they're coming from. I explained maybe the reasonings behind it and why it could have happened. Heck, we could have. I mean, a movie could have really raised the stakes a lot more. Like maybe you could have had Celestia and Luna encounter the Pony of Shadows themselves. Maybe they have to come and help Twilight in the main set, in the rest of the main 6 or 7, if you count Starlight, and maybe main 8 if you count Spike as well as Starswell and the Ancient Pillars, in trying to defeat him. And you could have gone more into depth, if you will, about their history with Starswell, and maybe maybe play off the fact that Luna could sense that the darkness that the Pony of Shadows uh, is made from is the same darkness that corrupted her. So who knows? They could have done a lot more. There's no doubt about it. They could have done a lot more. I'm not denying that. But would a movie been the best answer? Would a movie been the best solution? Honestly, like I said, I don't know. But if I was to give a true, honest answer, I don't think it would have been. I mean, yeah, it could have given us more time with the pillars, more time to get to know them, more time for the main 6 or 7 to go one on one and learn about, I guess you could say, um, the predecessors and all that. Maybe learn some experience from them, learn certain tricks and all that. Um, but still, I think what they gave us at 44 minutes is probably the best thing they could have. Is probably the best they could have done, and I think they did a magnificent job. I really do. Um, you know, I'll even say this: if they wanted to connect Uncommon Bond, which at the end of it they did, as part of this finale, they could have done that. They could have called it Shadow Play Prologue Uncommon Bond. That could have been the title. It could have been Shadow Play Prologue, and at the bottom of the title, it could have said Uncommon Bond. Because that's what it felt like. That's what Uncommon Bond felt like, was a prologue. And anybody knows that if a prologue episode or something like that takes place before a premiere or a finale for a series, then that prologue is added in as part of the finale. And to me, I think if they wanted to add Uncommon Bond to the equation, they could have had a movie right there. They could have had a perfect little over an hour, 66-minute movie, or whew, um, excuse me. Sorry about that. Yeah, they could have had easily a 66 or let me try to see. Yeah, 66, 68-minute movie. They could have had easily a movie right there if they added Uncommon Bond to the equation as part of it. But they didn't. All they did was end the episode on the fact that inside that barrel that Sunburst had obtained was Starswell's journal, and that's basically how we begin the finale. So, if they wanted to add it to the equation, there could have been your movie right there, but they didn't. Um, so when people wonder if a movie would have been a better option, maybe it would have been, maybe it wouldn't have been. Because of the fact that you could do a lot more in a movie, but you're always gonna but even though you could do a lot more in the movie, you're basically going to end up in the same situation you are with the 44-minute finale. So, what's the difference? What's the div on that? Um, so honestly, I don't think a movie would have served it well if that. But if they wanted to do that, if they wanted to decide to go in that direction instead of doing the two-part traditional finale, then I would have been cool with it. I would have been cool because they would have used that moment, that movie, to really build to really build up on this story arc, really build on the relationships between the characters, do a lot of character developing, give us in-depth history of these pillars and Starswell and the Pony's shadows and stuff like that. They could have done a lot, there's no doubt. But I think they wanted to minimize it to the point that they just wanted to put enough in there so you could get the general idea of what was going on, and pretty much within the containment of 45 minutes, you got everything you needed just like that. You got everything you needed, nothing was rushed, and you pretty much, like I said, got an idea of what was going on, what was happening. But honestly, if they had done a movie portion of it, um, I don't know if it would have worked. Really, I don't. I don't think a movie would have would have benefited it much. Besides what I said, because even if you could expand, where do you go for the rest of the movie? Do you continuously expand on moments, options? Maybe you do, But then where do you go from there? How do you get from there? You see, that's the question. How, when, and where do you go from there? That is the biggest question. Because you need to fill in that 88-minute to 100-minute time run. So what do you do? How do you fill it if pretty much within the first 45 to 60 minutes you've freed the pillars, you've introduced the pony of shadows, you know, you got the pillars to interact with basically the descendants, their successors. So, where do you go from there for like the next 40 to 30 minutes? See, that's the question. And they gave us all the answers we needed with this 45-minute finale. That's what they did there. So I don't think a movie would have made any more difference, except the fact that they would have had to find a way to fill out maybe the 30 to 40 minutes worth of film, just to get closure to it, or get people to understand what was going on. And honestly, I'll be honest, I think they were thinking about doing a movie, but I think they realized the movie probably would have been too convoluted, especially for younger audiences. So again, looking at the fact that could have could have the could have could have the could have the I should have put could have, and I'll probably change that, but could have the My Little Pony season 7 finale benefited as a movie instead of what we got in as the MLP movie instead of what we got? I don't think so. I think things are meant to be the way they are, and we'll just have to wait and see what they do in the future with season 8. If they decide to end season 8 with a movie finale, then fine, that's the decision. But you know, I don't think a movie would have really benefited this finale any more than what we got, because I think what we got is perfectly suitable. I really do. So that's really all I'm gonna say on it here live. Um, but yeah, honestly, I don't think a movie would have benefited. A movie version of this finale would have done much good. I don't think it being the story of the MLP movie that came out this year over what we got instead would have benefited. I think because benefited or anything. I think because I think, like I said, what we got in the 45-minute time frame that together you combine both episodes together as one that we got. I think probably the best thing is probably the best solution, the best answer they came up with when wanting to tell this story. So that's really all I'm going to say, folks. Let me know what you think down below. Thank you all for watching live. Comment down below. Video responses are greatly appreciated. Thank you all for watching post live after it's been uploaded. And I'll talk to you later. But those are just my thoughts on this topic.